Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a core topic from the rise of nationalism in Europe. Specifically, we're going to piece together a truly fascinating historical puzzle. We're looking at exactly how a scattered patchwork of foreign-ruled kingdoms and independent states completely transformed into the modern, unified nation of Italy that we know today. It's an incredible story full of secret societies, high-stakes diplomatic maneuvering, and armed rebellions, all coming together in the mid-19th century to redraw the map of Europe. So let's just dive right into this. The central question we need to answer today is right up here. How did this highly fragmented mid-19th century jigsaw puzzle actually get put together? As you'll see, the answer involves three incredibly distinct historical puzzle solvers who, despite having very different methods and completely different ideologies, somehow managed to forge a single nation out of total chaos. Part 1, a fragmented peninsula. Let's look at what they were actually dealing with. To really understand the magnitude of what these leaders accomplished, we have to realize that back in the mid-19th century, Italy was literally just a geographical expression. It was a scattered landscape that completely lacked any shared political or collective identity. By 1858, the peninsula was divided up into 7 distinct states. But here is the absolutely crucial detail to remember. Out of all those regions, only one, Sardinia-Piedmont, was actually ruled by an Italian princely house. The entire rest of the peninsula, totally under foreign domination. And the divide was stark. You had the north tightly controlled by the Austrian Habsburgs, while the southern regions were heavily dominated by the Bourbon kings of Spain. Oh, and right in the center, that territory was ruled directly by the Pope. But it wasn't just political fragmentation. Cultural unity basically didn't exist. Even the Italian language itself hadn't acquired one common form yet. It was heavily fractured into countless regional and local dialects. Part 2, the dream of young Italy. So, how do you even begin to fix a map that looks like that? Well, in the 1830s, our first puzzle solver emerged, the visionary revolutionary Giuseppe Mazzini. Mazzini was the ultimate dreamer of the Unification movement. He saw what Italy could be way before anyone else thought it was even possible. Because he was so often forced into exile, he founded these underground secret societies to spread his ideas. The most famous one was Young Italy, set up in Marseille. Its whole purpose was to spread a coherent, powerful program for a unitary Italian republic among like-minded young men. Notice that. He wanted a single unified republic, not just a loose alliance of kings. Mazzini's drive came from this deeply idealistic core belief. As this quote captures so perfectly, he believed that God had intended nations to be the natural units of mankind. To Mazzini, Italy simply could not continue to be this messy patchwork of small states and foreign rulers. It absolutely had to be forged together. Now, while his own uprisings often failed, his ideas were critical because they planted the essential seeds of nationalism. Part 3. Cavour's diplomatic masterstrokes. Okay, now we shift gears from revolutionary dreams to some real, tangible political change. Enter our second puzzle solver, Chief Minister Cavour. He was the true architect of unification, leading the movement from the state of Sardinia-Piedmont. And Cavour is such a fascinatingly ironic figure. He wasn't a revolutionary, and he wasn't a Democrat. He was a wealthy, highly educated member of the Italian elite who, get this, actually spoke French much better than he spoke Italian. He wasn't relying on romantic ideals or grassroots peasant uprisings at all. He relied on cold, calculated, and incredibly tactful diplomacy. You can really see Cavour's brilliance in his strategic timeline. In 1858, he engineers this highly tactful diplomatic alliance with France. With that French backing in his pocket, Sardinia-Piedmont succeeds in defeating the Austrian forces up in the north in 1859. The momentum is building rapidly now, perfectly setting the stage for the dramatic events of 1860, which brings us to our third key figure. Part 4, Garibaldi's March South. So while Cavour was busy negotiating in fancy drawing rooms to secure the north, a completely different campaign was kicking off in the south. This one was led by Giuseppe Garibaldi, the warrior of Italian unification. It basically played out as a sequential, almost pincer-like movement. Step 1, Cavour secures the north in 1859. Step 2, in 1860, Garibaldi and his massive number of armed volunteers march all the way down into South Italy and the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies. And step 3 was the real clincher. Garibaldi's forces actually succeeded in winning the support of the local peasants. That gave them the sheer numbers they needed to successfully drive out the Spanish Bourbon rulers once and for all. And here it is, the visual payoff of decades of struggle. The jigsaw puzzle had finally been put together. The north, which was secured by Cavour's regular troops and slick diplomacy, seamlessly joined up with the south, which had just been liberated by Garibaldi's volunteers. Part 5. The Birth of a Nation. So, the culmination of this incredible two-pronged effort happens in 1861, when Victor Emmanuel II is officially proclaimed king of a united Italy. The foreign powers have been expelled, the independent territories are linked. But let's slow down for just a second here, because history is rarely a neat, tidy fairy tale. Once the borders were drawn and the king was crowned, the newly unified Italy had to face a really ironic reality on the ground. Much of the Italian population remained blissfully unaware of the liberal nationalist ideology that had supposedly just brought them all together. Why? Because the rates of illiteracy across the peninsula were just staggeringly high. Which naturally leads us to a pretty gritty, provocative question about what was actually happening out there. Did the peasants who actually fought these battles even know what they were fighting for? I mean, we know Mazzini was dreaming of a republic, and we know Cavour was executing elite diplomacy, but what about those rural masses who marched alongside Garibaldi? Well, the historical record gives us an absolutely amazing, honestly kind of humorous answer to that. Those peasant masses in southern Italy, the ones who provided the crucial support Garibaldi needed, had literally never even heard the word Italia. Nope. Many of them actually believed that l'Italia was Victor Emmanuel's wife. Yeah, they thought they were fighting to support a new queen, not a newly forged nation-state. And that brings us to our final thought for today. The unification of Italy was, without a doubt, an absolute masterpiece of diplomacy by Cavour, armed action by Garibaldi, and idealistic vision by Mazzini. The map was finally united. But it leaves us with this really powerful question to ponder. How does a newly unified state forge a true national identity when its own people don't even know the nation's name? It's a fantastic reminder that drawing lines on a map is only the very first step in truly building a nation. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope it gave you a fresh perspective on this incredible piece of history.